ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the Washington Globe News tonight, where we have breaking news over this evening's discussion. This breaking news is none other than the Transcontinental Railroads. The current things that we will be discussing over the Transcontinental Railroads will have to be with the new act that supposedly made the Union Pacific and Central Pacific companies to come together in a building. In building an extensive railroad that goes all the way from the east to the west side of the United States. Many claim this to be false and impossible, but I believe it may come into play pretty soon. Now, the reason for this railroad is very speculative. Many people say it is for good transportation, and others say it's for good communication. Let's just say it's for manifest destiny, but who knows? For more on the topic, we have Vinu Chirayo, who will be speaking to our guest speaker, Mr. Hopkins.
Now, before we switch up my interview with Vinu, I'd like to give a quick introduction of myself. My name is Mark Hopkins, and I was born on September 1st, 1813 in Henderson, New York. In 1855, a partner of mine, Coles Hudgington, and I formed the Hudgington Hopkins and Company to operate a hardware and iron business in Sacramento. We and two other investors that I talked about in the interview from the Big Four, which founded the Central Pacific Railroad. Now, with this background acknowledged, we can transfer to Vinu with the formal interview.
So it's August 1862, and we have the initiation of the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad, initiated by the Pacific Railroad Act of 1862. It has authorized the issuance of government bonds, a land security, as well as grants of land to various railroad companies. Its aim is to extend a railroad all the way from the Missouri River to the Pacific Ocean, thus getting the name Transcontinental. So today I brought out the famous historical figure, Mr. Mark Hopkins. Nice to meet you. He is an American railroad executive, a principal investor. So, Mr. Hopkins, what major achievements have you contributed?
So, where do I start? I joined the hunt for gold in the gold rush period, and I was unsuccessful due to the competition. So then I later thought I would do grocery business, and that was pretty good, so why stop there? Few years later, I became a Californian capitalist who built the Central Pacific, and later on I built the Southern Pacific Railroad. So that is one of the major accomplishments I've achieved.
That's honestly really amazing to hear. So what would you say is your role in the development of the Transcontinental Railroad?
Well, I was approached by this brilliant engineer by the name Theodore DeHone Judah, who envisioned the Transcontinental Railroad. So with the help of a few merchants by the name Leland Stanford and Charles Crocker, we helped him fulfill this dream. So quite frankly, I played a small role in the CF machination.
That's actually really amazing to hear. So everyone, this is Mr. Mark Hopkins, and I'm going to be transferring to Mustafa with some commentary.
Thank you, Vinu. While going across the country used to cost $1,000, it now costs $150. This is a testament to how efficient and how cost-effective the Transcontinental Railroad has been for the United States. As Vinu stated, the development of the Transcontinental Railroad has started with the Pacific Railroad Act, which stipulated that the Central Pacific Railroad Company would start building in Sacramento and continue east across the Sierra Nevada, while a second company, the Union Pacific Railroad, would build westward from the Missouri River near the Nebraska-Iowa border. I believe this development in the country's infrastructure will only increase migration and movement to the west. We can even expect to see more major cities being built as a result of an influx of immigrants here to work on the railroad. Another effect we can expect to see is a heavy increase in international trade due to a wider variety of manufactured goods headed west. This development has potential to change the way we mark time as a country. With consideration to the advancements, many have voiced concern about the railroad, about how the railroad is already causing natural decline. This is in reference to the massive amounts of wood needed to build different parts of the railroad, like the track, bridges, and tunnels. The railroad also makes it easier for hunters to travel west to the heavy disapproval of Native Americans and buffalo population. I predict we will see the development of a more web-like railroad system in coming years, reaching deeper into less settled parts of the country. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Vanu and Mustafa, for filling us in on this information. And a special thank you to our special guest, Mr. Hopkins, our guest speaker, for joining us today for the Transcontinental Railroads. Despite all the backlash that these railroads may receive from new environmentalists who fear that it might ruin the environment, to Native Americans who don't want us to expand there, I think that it still has redeeming qualities such as better communication and transportation, as well as possibility of manifest destiny. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to make up for it in the future with all the backlash it's going to receive, but I hope it really does. All I really know, though, is that I live in the United States, and we just got a lot more connected, and I'm happy to live in it. This has been the Washington Globe's juicy take on the Transcontinental Railroads, and I'd like to thank our viewers for tuning in tonight. Take care.